Ohio State lands the number one quarterback in the class of 2028, Christopher Vargas.
You are Locked On Buckeyes, your daily podcast on the Ohio State Buckeyes. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
I am Jay Stevens. During this Buckeye Blitz, we will dive into the elite foundation Ohio State has already set for their 2028 recruiting class. But first, in every recruiting class, you're striving to find a quarterback that can take your offense to the next level, that meshes with the quarterback coach, the OC, and the head coach, and is able to be a magnet for other elite players. Christopher Vargas checks all those boxes. Then you add in the fact that he's the number one quarterback in the 2028 recruiting class. That just adds to a big of a win this is for the Buckeyes. At 6'4", 195 pounds, out of St. John's Prep in Danvers, Massachusetts, this young man knows how to play football at the quarterback position. He's super, super confident pre-snap, not just post-snap when the ball's in his hand. Pre-snap, he knows what he's seeing. He knows how to read the defense. And then when it's time to play ball, he slings it all over the yard. He's really good over the middle. That's one of the things I really enjoyed was his ability to just sling it with the right zip over the middle, right only where his receiver can catch the ball. His confidence and his poise and his ability to not hesitate is next level stuff. He's entering his junior year of high school. As you're entering a junior year of high school, you would almost assume that the young man might hesitate a little bit because it's natural when you're 16, maybe 17 years old to hesitate, to not be super confident in your abilities. He is. And the fact that Ohio State won this recruitment over Oregon just adds another cherry on top of this win because the Ducks are coming to Ohio and picked Ohio players and taking them out to the Pacific Northwest. That's not fun. That's not enjoyable to read about or to think about. But what is fun, so when Ohio State wins a recruiting battle over Oregon for a quarterback that can be very special in college. Remember, he's a junior in high school. So I'm not going to make massive projections and proclamations about him because he still has to play 2 more years of high school football. It's possible he may reclassify down the road. I haven't heard that, but I mean, with the way things are at the high school level and some coaches and teams are open to welcoming guys to their teams a year earlier, it's possible that Vargas might be that guy. But over the past couple of years, Ohio State's had a great string of recruiting. Tavian St. Clair in the 2025 class, 2026, Luke Fahey, who's currently on campus. Next year's Brady Edmonds. A year after Christopher Vargas. I mean, you're going year after year after year. We're just really good to elite quarterbacks. Luke Fahey reminds me of Julian Sand, the same type of processor, the same type of throw of the football, more of a quick pass guy, get the ball in his hands, quickly get it out of his hands. Tavian St. Clair can do it all. Brady Edmonds, more of a traditional pocket passer, not as athletic as a Fahey or Tavian St. Clair. But Vargas, to me, is the one guy that's the most like St. Clair. Now, St. Clair, when he was heading into his junior year of high school, I would assume, I don't have a picture in front of me, but I would assume he's probably the same stature or maybe the same weight as Vargas. Now, St. Clair now is up to 225 pounds. He came into Ohio State at least 220. So over the time, he just naturally filled out his body and got a little bit stronger, got a little bit bigger. The same might happen to Vargas. So don't look out there and see his film and say, oh, Jay, he's pretty skinny. He is. He's a high school kid, a junior in high school at that. When he gets a little bit older, when he gets a little bit stronger, gets a little bit wiser, better with his nutrition, better in the weight room, you might see a guy when he steps on campus as a true freshman being 6'5", 225. That's very possible for Vargas. But a scout gave me these notes on Vargas. They're kind of similar to something I said earlier. Then some of them are not. He has a smooth delivery. He's confident over the middle. He doesn't hesitate. That's one of the things that really stuck out to me. He understands levels. And these are all parts of the reasons Ryan Day wanted this man really bad. Not only Ryan Day, Billy Fessler, Arthur Smith, all of them wanted him really bad. And when you're able to make that push for a quarterback in that cycle this early, you have to do it. Now, adding Vargas is huge, but you're adding him to a recruiting class that already has an elite foundation. Why did I make that statement? I'll answer that question after the break. This is Locked On Buckeyes. This episode is brought to you by The Game. Since 1986, The Game has been creating classic college hats that fans are proud to wear. Whether you're an alumnus, current student, season ticket holder, or simply someone who never misses a game, a great college hat is more than just apparel. It's a way to represent your school wherever you go. This year, The Game is celebrating its 40th anniversary by giving fans a chance to save on some of their most iconic college hats. If you've been thinking about replacing an old favorite or adding a new one to your collection, now is a perfect time. Speaking of adding a hat to your collection, I'm sure my wife may get a little bit annoyed when I say, hey, I like this hat, or I like that hat, because I want to add hats to my collection. Well, The Game is a brand that I love. It's comfortable, it's stylish, they have great designs. The feel is one that any person would probably enjoy. And I get to rep Ohio State. It's crystal clear, the team that we talk about every day on this show. With hundreds of officially licensed college hats to choose from, you'll find the perfect fit for game day and every day. Don't miss this chance to celebrate 40 years of The Game with 40% off your first order. Visit thegamecaps.com and use promo code LOCKEDON at checkout. That's thegamecaps.com. Promo code Locked On. Celebrate 40 years of The Game with 40% off. But don't wait. This anniversary won't last forever. This episode is also brought to you by our friends at Kalshi. Before the season even kicks off, everyone's making predictions. Who wins the division? Who makes the playoffs? Who's lifting the trophy at season's end? On Kalshi, America's #1 prediction market platform, you can trade those predictions in a live market. Can the Cleveland Browns win at least 5 games this season? The Browns are currently trading at 63%, meaning a $100 trade pays out $152.40 if they reach 5 wins. On Kalshi, you're trading against peers in a live market, meaning there's no house. And as the probability changes, you can buy in and out of your position. Trade the draft pick, the game, and more on Kalshi. Download the Kalshi app and use code Locked On to get $10 when you trade $10. KALSHI Kalshi. Trade on everything. 18 plus only. Restrictions and eligibility requirements apply. Event contract trading involves risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Kalshi products are not available in all jurisdictions. Prices, values, and available markets may differ from those mentioned. For more information, see kalshi.com/regularity. Christopher Vargas is a big-time get at this time of the cycle. You're getting a young man that is entering his junior year of high school that has a lot of the recruiting process still ahead of him, where if he doesn't shut down his recruitment, he is a guy that can take visits all over the country because that's how good he is. But the Buckeyes do a really good job with landing quarterbacks early, and when they do, more often than not, they're going to keep their commitment to Ohio State. And I laid it off like that on purpose because Ohio State currently has 4 players verbally committed to Ohio State. Jet Harrison being one of them, Marvin Harrison Jr.'s brother, 4-star receiver from Pennsylvania. Jamir Wyche, a 4-star edge rusher from Dayton, Ohio. And then Elijah Newman-Hall, a running back from IMG at 6 foot, 215 pounds. He's also a 4-star. You have an edge rusher, a receiver, a running back, and a quarterback. You're doing a lot of really good things right now when you look at where Ohio State currently is. It's likely that Weiss and Harrison are 5 stars when they start to add those numbers to the recruiting cycle, because there's a time period. You may be a top 32 recruit right now, but they even started adding that 5th star to recruiting databases for different players. So it's possible you currently may have down the road 3 5-stars and a 4-star. That's not a bad start to recruiting class. But getting these players early, they can be viewed as a magnet as well. Because when you get a quarterback like Vargas, He's going to attract offensive linemen that want to block for him. He's going to attract more running backs. He's going to attract the best receivers. He's going to attract a really good tight end. At the end of the day, you're going to look back at this offensive recruiting class and say, wow, you could say this might be one of the best that Ryan Day has ever had. Why? Well, because you had a strong foundation. You're already getting really good players to commit early to you and ditch everybody else. Everybody else in the country sees that. They want to play at Ohio State. They want to be the best. They want to be a high draft pick. Well, join the class. Get on the Buckeyes' radar. Find a way to get their attention. Because if you do that, you could be added to this group. Well, this is also huge. I don't know a time in recent memory that Ohio State has been able to open up a class like this with this much firepower. I don't know. But when you're able to have continuity with coaches, consistency with the style in which you play, it's going to help you land more elite players. And you add in Ohio State, won a natty a couple of years ago. Ryan Day's been to 2 already. It's time at Ohio State. The youngsters see that. They know what the Buckeyes do. They know what Ryan Day is about. They want to be challenged. They want to be pushed. They want to play for something bigger than themselves. Come be a Buckeye. You could be great too. Thank you all for tapping on the Buckeyes to this reaction show to Christopher Vargas committing to Ohio State. You can follow me on any social media platform at jstevens07. Send every email to jstevens31